Hey, this is Phil from Race City Retro, and today I'm really excited about this one. We're going to go over the 1976, the bicentennial year, Monogram models car kits in their catalog. Monogram models are my absolute favorite from when I was a kid. They went together beautifully. The detail on them, beautiful. The kits they offered were amazing. I liked everything about Monogram models, car models. I don't have one bad thing to say about them. Enjoyed building them. Just back then, you got to remember, we didn't have bare metal foil in the 70s, and I always loved that Monogram models had such great detail on the bodies. We had to paint our chrome trim with silver paint and a brush, and they were always so much easier than the rest. Like the AMTs, a lot of the trim was blurry on those cars. The emblems were blurry. Monogram was always super crisp and very easy to detail, both inside and out. Loved the glass that it was connected. It went up easy, set nice in the body. Just like I said, I can't say anything bad about Monogram models from the 70s. Love them. Today's catalog, whoa, you're gonna dig it. We've done MPC in the 70s, AMT in the 70s, Revell in the 70s. Showed you guys some really cool kits. This one is gonna blow you away. My opinion, Monogram had the coolest of the stuff that was offered in the 70s. And now I may even do, this is a 76 catalog. I have a 78 catalog. And believe it or not, just in those 2 years, there's a lot of new stuff in the 78 catalog. So I may do one after this. All I'm asking from you guys, give us a like, give us a subscribe. These videos take time, but I love to do them, man. I love talking models from the 70s. It's what I grew up with, and I just love that era. You guys have been amazing with your comments, man. It brought back a lot of great memories. People were talking about all the department stores and the stores they used to buy their models at, and the kits they had and the kits they wanted, the kits they still have. I have a bunch of white box monograms from the 70s. We're going to go over one of my favorites. In the middle of the video, I'll take a little break. Be sure to watch to the end because the last feature in this catalog, I had them. I remember talking to a couple guys, and they looked like at me like I was crazy. They were like, "No, they didn't make that." Yes, they did. Did you have them? You're not going to believe what Monogram was doing with models, the way they were offering them, and that's the last page of this catalog. So stick around to the end. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoy this video like you guys have enjoyed the first 3. If you haven't seen the others, go watch the others. They're great. I also have a cool Monogram video where I ripped open one of my original 1977 air in the box still 57 Chevy Monogram kits and compared it to a 2025 57 Chevy Monogram kit, the same kit. What happened almost 50 years later, the changes in the two kits. It's pretty cool. If you haven't watched that one, check out my Monogram 57 Chevy comparison video. Thank you so much, man. Grab up a big bowl of popcorn, sit back. Be sure to comment on kits if you've seen them, didn't see them, if you had them, didn't have them. I'm going to ask some questions in here about kits that I may not remember. Maybe you do. But stick around to the end because the last page is so cool. And like I said, I've talked to a lot of guys about those kits on the last page, and people looked at me like I was nuts. Said, "No, they didn't make that." Yes, they did. I had one of them. And when you see them, I want to know, did you remember those kits? Let me know. Thanks, guys. Enjoy the video. Okay, Monogram 1976. Buckle up. Here we go. And first off, I got to come clean about this picture in my thumbnail. That's not the actual catalog cover. I'm going to show you the actual catalog cover here. Now, think about this. It was 1976, bicentennial. Everything was really, stars and stripes and stripes and stars. And I got a feeling the person that they gave the responsibility of doing the artwork for this catalog probably got fired shortly after this because it's one of the most boring catalog covers I've ever seen for any product. And I did not want to put this on my thumbnail because most people probably wouldn't even click on it, after seeing this. But here's the original
1976 Monogram catalog cover art. Let me know what you think about that. Could it be any more boring? Okay, now that we're done with that horrible cover, let's get on to the good stuff. Monogram starts their cars off on page 12, and what they're starting with is the drag and street machines. They've got all the good stuff. Boss Willie's Gasser straight axle coupe, Ford Screamer, Chop 33, 34 Ford coupe, roll bar hanging out of the roof, Hemi Fiat, very nice, and then just a Corvette. Now, these two on the bottom, the Ford T pickup and the Deuce Roadster, those look like some of the original Monogram kits that were back from the late 50s, early 60s, because all of these kits are 1/32nd scale. So they're smaller than the normal kits, but they're not snaps, they're glue kits. And then if you look at their little note on the bottom, they also offer a drag and street assortment box where they'll send, I guess, random 36 kits to the hobby shop. Made it easy for the hobby shop owner to order a bunch of kits in one shot. But these are 1/32nd scale cars. Okay, now we jump from drag and street machines to the sports set. Sports cars. They're starting off with a beautiful Porsche 911 Carrera. And if I'm not mistaken, after this version, they made a rally version of that same kit. Next, the Mercedes 450 SL, which I do not remember that kit. Do you? That's kind of strange. The one below it, though, the Midnight Capri 2, I do remember. I built that kit when it was brand new, and I loved it. It went together beautiful, that kit. And then on the bottom, the 280Z, another nice kit. I built that kit as well. And if I'm not mistaken, later on, they did offer a rally version in the 280Z. Real nice selection on sports cars. Here comes the good stuff, drag stars. Amazing page here. And before I even get into these, Monogram made a stellar move when they signed Tom Daniel onto the program. He helped design, and he was a consultant for them, and he was involved with over 85 of their kits. And he really set the stage for some amazing kits through the years from Monogram. And you can see on this page alone, his influence is all over it. Some of these kits were signature series kits. Some of these kits he just consulted on. But check it out. Bad Medicine, amazing. The Badman 55 Chevy, one of my all-time favorite Monogram kits. The Snake and Mongoose rear-engine dragsters. Then we get down into the funny cars. The 57 Chevy funny car, the El Camino funny car, the Cuda funny car, the Duster funny car. Look at the graphics on these kits. I mean, that had Tom Daniel written all over it. And this is just the beginning of his influence you're going to see in this book. Next page, Super Rods. And once again, more of Tom Daniel's brilliance on this page. Some of these kits have been reissued. Some of these kits have not been reissued. I built a few of them. And let's start off on the top. Boot Hill Express, the Stagecoach, amazing. The Beer Wagon, Tarantula Dragster with the parachute, Ice-T, the Cherry Bomb, which came with the chopper, the Vandal, which came with the mini bike, the Paddy Wagon, the Rommel's Rod, the Little Coffin, and the School Bus. Amazing, amazing stuff, man. Like I said, you could see Tom Daniel's brilliance all over this stuff. Monogram really had an unfair advantage over everybody else having him on the payroll because this stuff is just amazing. And all these kits went together beautifully. Like I said in the beginning, I never had an issue with a kid building Monogram kits. Now, if that wasn't enough, the coolness continues on the next page, which is a split page, California Wheels and Evil Show Rods. Starts off with the Fire Iron Fire Truck, the Sand Shark, the Little Van, the Hangman, the Fast Buck, the Stinger, the Popper Chopper, and the Rattler. And take notice of the power plants in these kits. Everything's different. He's using exotic engines, exotic injections, regular stuff. You really see some really unusual stuff like that Rattler down on the bottom there. It looks like an overhead cam Pontiac engine, possibly, but they put a lot of detail into every aspect of the design of these kits that the other companies just didn't really do it like Monogram did it. And the graphics, beautiful. Once again, Tom Daniel all over this page. Next page, Street Machine. Starting off with the 55 Chevy Street Machine, which was basically a street version of the Badman kit. A lot of the components were the same, different wheels and tires, different graphics, decals, stuff like that. Next to that, you have the Corvette SS hatchback, which was a real thing. I could remember those kits driving around on the streets back then. The Poison Pinto, look at the engine hanging out of that hood, looks like a tunnel ram. Next to that, the Rat Vega. Under that, you have the Red Baron, which is one of Tom Daniel's most famous designs. And next to that, the Baja Beasts, Volkswagen. More and more and more cool stuff from Monogram. On to the street and strip machines. And this is a little bizarre on this page. If you look at the top right, the Mojave Mule. I don't know, I guess it's a street truck. It looks like it's more off-roady than street, but it's kind of neat when you look at it. To the left of that, another one of my all-time favorites, the Quicksilver. I think I built it twice in my life. I would love to find another one of those, but they are uber rare. All I can remember from that kit is they gave you peel and stick carpet for the back under the glass roof. Pretty cool. The Cop Out Duster funny car, still have one today. You're going to see a few of my kits in a little bit. The California Street Vet, which I'm going to go into a little more detail in a second on that particular kit. And then under that, you have the emergency cars, the Vanbulance and the Firebomb. And by the looks of that Vanbulance, you would get to the hospital in a hurry. More Tom Daniel goodness on these pages. Really, really nice stuff. The California Street Vet kit featured on this page had a pretty cool background to it. That was Tom Daniel's actual street car that he drove to work at Monogram Models. So they decided to turn the car into a model kit. I can remember getting it brand new. It had just come out when I built it. Awesome kit. I did not know that was his car till the later version. It actually said it. There was two versions of this kit. There was a big box, which was the early box. For some reason, it was bigger than a normal Monogram box. And then the second version said Tom Daniel's personal car on the cover of the kit. So they had like an early intro box. Then they had a second box. But that was his car. That was Tom Daniel's car that he drove to work. Back in the 70s, we called these street rods. If you opened the new issue of Street Rodder magazine, this is exactly what you would see on the pages. And Monogram did a great job of getting the details period perfect for the time. The wheels, the polished slots, the wire wheels, everything that was on those cars, that was the hot setup then. And a lot of these cars had, like you could see the T-Bucket, tunnel ram, pulling a trailer, that was popular. They had Pontiac engines with tri-powers. They had all different power plants. But this was exactly what you would call a street rod in 1976. And they featured all the best models. A Touring Coupe, 30 Ford Touring, a 32 Ford Roadster, a 34 Ford Coupe 3-window, a 40 Ford pickup, a T-Bucket, a 34 Ford convertible or roadster, a 30 Ford Woody, Surf Woody, 36 Ford 3-window coupe with, I remember building that kit, it had a working rumble seat in it, a 29 Ford Roadster pickup, and a 36 Ford convertible. A bunch of these kits have been reissued in other versions. They were doing some with black with gold trim. I remember the T-Bucket, but not all of them have been reissued, but these were all easy builds, really, really great kits. Okay, here are a few of my white box. When I say white box, that was a look that Monogram used a long time. Just a plain white box with a built-up model on the cover. They weren't big on artwork. Most of their stuff was actual built-up kits, which was kind of neat, especially when you looked on the side. These are a few that I have here in my secret home stash. The 53 Chevy, which I believe came later on.
The El Camino camper I love. Look at the stance on that car, even back then with the Kraggers. Actually, those weren't Kraggers, they were appliance wheels, Kragger lookalikes. The Bad Actor, which replaced the Quicksilver 60 Chevy sedan delivery. The 39 Chevy sedan delivery, which they just reissued. I think it's called like the Pork Pie delivery or something. The Cop Out Plymouth Duster funny car with the wrinkled slicks on the back. First time I ever saw those tires, they were amazing. And my favorite, the Bad Man. If you see a Bad Man kit out there, grab it. I really wish they would reissue the Bad Man. Just a great, great kit. I love it.
On to Monogram's special interest cars. Now, these kits, you could only build them one way, which was dead stock. There were no hot rod parts. There were no custom parts. These were just stock kits. First one up's the 58 Thunderbird, which actually that kit later went on to be Elvira's Macrame or whatever it's called, Mobile, Elvira's convertible. Next to that, 30 Ford Coupe. Next to that, 30 Ford Cabriolet. Under that, we start the classic cars, which is really the finest of the finest. This page and the next page has even more. Duesenberg Town Car, Duesenberg Phaeton, Packard Boattail Speedster, and a Mercedes-Benz. And those were, the kids my age weren't building those kits, their dads were, because that was the stuff that their dads, grew up admiring, these finer classic cars. More of the classics. And you got to remember, it was 1976 when this catalog was made. These cars are from the mid-30s to late 30s. They were only 40-year-old cars, so that's what was considered a classic. In 1976, a 57 Chevy wasn't even a 20-year-old car yet. But they're going with the Duesenberg SJ Roadster up top, which is a new kit for that year. They also have a Rolls-Royce, a Lincoln Continental, which strangely enough, I did build that kit as a kid. I got it in some kind of Christmas time grab bag at school, and it really wasn't a bad kit. I think I just built it just bone stock. And the Packard Speedster Phaeton closes out their classic car series from 1976. All right, it's about to get real big up in here with their colossal cars. Now, Monogram came out with these huge, I believe they were 1/8 scale cars. And as a model builder, they were absolutely amazing. It was a lot of work because you had a huge body, big interior, a lot of painting, a lot of detail. But when it was done, it was incredible. I also remember these are the first kits where they would give you ignition wires, radiator hoses, and stuff like that. So you could really, rubber, I'm talking, so you could really detail them out nicely. I did not build this Corvette, but the first one I ever built was actually the Boogie Nights, the orange 78 Corvette, which they came out with naturally a couple years from now because this is the 76 catalog. But my buddy had this 65 Corvette, and it was amazing, this kit. He did it in silver, and it was just an incredible, incredible build. Next of their 1/8 scale colossal cars is this amazing Big T street rod. Wow, yellow, flames, small block, tri-power, skull as a shifter knob, fuel lines for the carbs. I mean, just an amazing kit. I had this kit maybe about 5 years ago. I bought it at a swap meet in an open box but unbuilt, real nice box. Had it for a little bit. A buddy of mine made me a stupid offer on it. So like an idiot, I let it go. I'll probably never see another one. Take notice though. Look at the pictures. Now this is a pattern we've seen in these first two cars where they show the kid with the built-up model on the table. I'm guessing they wanted to promote just how big these cars were because you really didn't see stuff like this up until Monogram started doing it. 1/8 is probably the biggest scale you're ever going to see a model in because if you've ever seen 1/8 these cars built, they're gigantic. But really, really nice job on this T-bucket. I just want to stare at that picture all day long. Back then, the model car companies all advertised in the car magazines, any type of magazine that a kid would read. And you could see by this ad, they were really promoting the two kits I just showed you, the T-Bucket and the Corvette, the big scale kits. They wanted kids to know that, the big scales were out there. And the big scale kits was nothing new. It just went away for a while. In the 60s, I believe Lindbergh did one. Monogram did have like the big red rod and all that. But they brought them back, which was kind of neat. But this is an ad from I believe this was in like a Hot Rod magazine, this ad. Well, just like in the song Dead Man's Curve, they had the Stingray. They got to have the XKE. Monogram closes out the Colossal Cars trio with this Jaguar. Am I saying it correctly? XKE. Beautiful, beautiful kit. Look at the detail on that engine. And like I was saying, they would give you the wiring, the hoses. All these kits were steerable. You turn the steering wheel, everything worked on them. Just amazing cars that went together beautifully. Really nice job, Monogram, on these 1/8 scale kits. The next couple pages begins Monogram's Snap Tight section. Now, keep in mind, all these kits are molded in color, no paint necessary, no glue necessary, and these are probably some of the most amazing snap kits you're going to see for detail. This first page, the Mean Machines, I do not remember these for the life of me. I can't picture what the boxes look like. Did anyone ever, not necessarily build, did you ever see these, the Mean Machines? It kind of looks like it's Monogram's take on the MPC Zingers. But this is all Tom Daniels stuff because a lot of this is modified versions of the actual kits that you saw a few pages ago. They start off with the Screamin' Vet, the Thunderbug, which has the spike on the top, just like the helmet, the Boss Mustang, the Dune Rat, the Leap Hog motorcycles, Roaring Peace, the Tarantula Dragster, and the Little Red Baron. Pretty cool, huh? Look at these things, man. Amazing. And these are all snap kits, no glue, no paint. They come with the decals, ready to go. Did anybody ever have any of these kits or even remember seeing any of these kits? Continuing on with the Snap Tight kits, we have funny cars. These are super cool. Whiplash, Split Bumper Camaro, Rip-Off, which is a Plymouth Duster. Fake Out, which is a Mustang Fastback. Fiend, which is a 71 Charger body. Then we're down to the Pinto Shutout. Next to that, the Gremlin. Under that, we have Vega Earthquake. And to the right of that, Mustang 2. Amazing choice when it comes to their funny car snap kits. All the different bodies, all the different makes and manufacturers that were common with funny cars back in the day. Great graphics. They weren't using any of the official funny cars, but it still didn't take away from these kits. They had some sponsorship and contingency decals on them anyway. Great names, great graphics, amazing for snap kits what Monogram was offering. The Snap Tight kits just keep coming. Next, we're on to the funny haulers. Custom vans, naturally, it was 1976. So they're going to have to be represented in one way or another because they were so hot at the time. And then on the bottom, you have mini trucks, which were getting hot at the time also. Now, as far as the top two, you have a Dodge, and I love the names. The Vanana Split. Next to that is the Chevy van. Check out the louvered hood on that. And that's called the Streeto Vandito. Pretty cool Monogram. Under that, you have two mini trucks, a Toyota and a Datsun, which I guess were so new, they didn't have pictures of them yet, but they were probably late year introductions from Monogram. But still, some really nice snap kits. Okay, and to close this catalog out, here is something so bizarre that every time I bring this up with model guys, they laugh at me. They tell me I'm crazy. There was no such thing. Yes, I had one. I had the Pepsi one. If you see the display in this ad, that same display was at the store. I believe it was Playworld Toys, and I grabbed one off that display. And these were snap kits. Car in a bottle, dragster in a bottle. I don't know why during the 70s People were crazy over bottles, putting things in bottles. You would go to the carnivals, they would have glass stretched bottles, bottles with colored sand, with seashells in them, with ships in them, with all kinds of stuff in them. So I guess Monogram said, we're going to put a dragster in a bottle. And they got licensing from Dr. Pepper, 7 Up, Pepsi, all the, big soda companies at that time. And they built this kit. And then not only did they build this kit, they promoted the heck out of them. I would see the ad in all the magazines, and they'd have the pictures of it. And it was just, it was a thing because for some reason, these glass bottles were so big in the 70s. Like I said, everywhere you look, somebody was doing something with these glass bottles. But yes, they made it. And I will say that I had that Pepsi one when I was a kid, so I know it's for real. You built the car, the back of the bottle snapped off, you put the car in the bottle, and you put the cap on the back, and then the bottle had a stand that it laid on so you could display it. But it was pretty cool back then. I would love to find another one of these now. I hadn't thought about this for a while. I do check from time to time, like on eBay and stuff, but I haven't seen one in years. Am I the only guy that built one of these cars left on the planet, or did anyone else build or remember seeing these car in a bottle kits that Monogram made?
Whoa. Monogram, Monogram, Monogram. All right, you with me? Is that not the coolest stuff, man? That is just an incredible bunch of cars. Incredible. That's why I loved them then. That's why I love them now. The car in the bottle thing, I did it. I had it. I built it. So they exist. You ever see one? And just so much cool stuff. I liked everything about Monogram kits. To me, the decals were better. The fit and finish was amazing. I don't think I ever had a problem with one Monogram kit. Putting it all together, putting the interior in, no issues. Flash was minimal. Chrome was always amazing. I just loved and still love to this day, especially the white box era kits, Monogram model kits. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it so much. Be sure to subscribe. I've got a lot of good future model car stuff and regular car stuff coming up. Also, check out our website, racecityretro.com. Over 1,000 automotive related products. If you're a car guy, you cannot go to that website and not buy something. Too much cool stuff to choose from. And I thank you so much for coming on this journey with me today. I look forward to sharing the next video with you guys. Take care now. Jump over to the bench and build something cool.